Okay, we're up to Daf Lamed Hey Amid Aleph in Masechta Nedarim. We're in the middle of the Daf, and the Gemara. This Gemara has two huge sugyas in Shas, and they're very short, but they're full of lumdis, tremendous lumdis. First one is the sugya of Yesh Me'ila B'Koinamas. Yesh Me'ila B'Koinamas. In other words, if I would go ahead and I would say something's Hegdish, I'm magdish something. I just say this is Hegdish. This bottle is Hegdish, fully Hegdish, right? So the halacha is that now it was in my possession. I have the ability to be magdish it. Anyone who has hana from this bottle would have to pay the principal a fifth and bring a carbon ashamilis. Midaraisa, that's what it would be, because it's Hegdish. Now we know that one of the ways of making something a neder is by manifestation, what we call hatfasa, right? When you go ahead and you compare it to a carbon. Question: when you use the lashon of koinim, which means is a lashon of carbon, to what extent does it become asa? So it can be asa to me like a carbon, but is it asa to mamash a carbon, and therefore it would be subject to the din of me'ila to some extent. So that's called yesh me'ila b'kainamais. There is a din of me'ila to go ahead and be moil behegdish b'kainamais, and there's a even if there's a din yesh me'ila b'kainamais, I'll show you a wonderful diak in the I have written on the side over here my Gemara from the Ran, whether even if there's a din of me'ila, it's limited to the carbon. It would not extend to the keren v'chaimish. It would not extend to the keren v'chaimish. Why? When I go ahead and make this kodesh, it's hegdish. It belongs to hegdish. Yesh milik koinamis means it's us like a carbon, but who does it belong to? It does. There's no baal. There's no ownership. There's no one to pay. Even if it has a din of meila, it's not going to have a din of what of momin meila. It's not. It doesn't. Your neder does not transfer bilis to hegdish. It makes it asa like hegdish. And to the extent of the isser of it only extends to a carbon me'ila, it wouldn't extend to who you're going to give it to the Beis HaMikdash. What? A keren v'chaimish? You didn't give it to the Beis HaMikdash. You just asked it either on everybody or yourself. It's a very interesting chiluk. So even if yesh milik chainamis, there's a limitation. So let's see the sugya. Says the Gemara. Boy minei Rava mei Rav Nachman. We're about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 12 lines down. Boy minei Rava mei Rav Nachman. Yesh mila b'kainamais. Oiloi. Is there a din of mila b'kainamais? Now let's do the Rans. Keep your finger on the Ran, guys. Left down a few lines. Yesh mila b'kainamais. Ha'isa davrei alav. Someone asks something on himself. B'kainim with the lashon of kainim, which means carbon. V'nena mimenu mi mechayev meila oiloi. Mi amrinan the asu ki carbon v'chayev alav asham meila. Notice, guys. Only Asha Mila, not what? Nice thick, right? Not Karen V'chaimish, right? Kinenim in Akotchim, or not? That's the question. So back in the Gemara, Amar Leitin Isua. So Rav Nachman answered Rava, we learned it. What do we say in our Mishnah? Why does this come in our Mishnah? Makam Shnoit Nola Eschar, Tipa Nola Hegdish. He was dealing with a person, something was Asa Bahana. He can't go, he returns the Aveda. If the place where they turned the Aveda, they would pay you reimbursement for your lost wages, and you can't have enough in the person. So what do? You meichel it, and if you're meichel it, you're having enough. So what do? Tibal no lahegdish. Now, why does it say tibal no lahegdish? It could say tibal no liyama gadol. Guys, throughout Shas, when a person cannot use something, let's say avodah zarah, that's asur, they go ahead and they throw it in the Yam Melech. They throw in the Yam, whether dafka the Yam Melech, not the Yam Melech, is a sugya, right? Whether it has to be something that can destroy metal or something, but they say you throw in the Yam Melech. So when it says over here, it doesn't say tipul hanol Yam Melech. It doesn't say take the money, throw the Yam Melech. What does it say? Tipul hanol hegdish. Why? Because it must have kedusha. So we're bringing a riot from that Mishnah that yesh mila b'kainamas, guys. That's the diak that the Ran makes, guys. It says over here tipul hanol hegdish, rather than throwing it in the Yam Hagadol, in the Yam Melech, throwing it out. Why do we say no? Give it to Hegdish. Why give it to Hegdish? Because it has a din of Hegdish. So we can prove that Yesh Mila B'Kainamis from our Mishnah, and that's why it's pointed over here. Remember to tell us Ki Hegdish. Ma Hegdish Yesh by Meila, just like Hegdish has a din of Meila, Av Kainamis, so to Kainamis, Yesh Behen Meila have a din of Meila. Good. So that's the way Rav Nachman the Amoira answered Rava the Amoira. However, the Gemara now suggests that Kitanoi, in fact, whether there's din of Yesh Mila B'Kainavas or not, is subject to Machlokes Tanoim and not clear cut as Rav Nachman just was Paisha to Rava. In other words, there is an other opinion that no, even though it's Hegdish to some extent, we say Ein Mila B'Kainavas. For example, Koinem Kikar Zu Hegdish. This person says this Kikar is Hegdish. In other words, on the whole world, he says this Kikar is Hegdish. So and va'achla, and he eats it. Bein hu ubein chaveiroi. Whether he eats it or his friend eats it, mo'al. There's a din of me'ila. So obviously this shita holds yesh mila b'kanamis. You're eating something that's kodesh, and therefore there's a din of me'ila. Lefikach yesh lem pidyon. As a result that there's a din of mila, totally we can ascertain that it has a pidyon. There's a din in kachim like this, guys. Let's just for a second to digress. If something is totally kodesh, it's shaykh to redeem it. If something is partially kodesh, then you can't redeem it. It doesn't. The redemption has to take place on a chalois of something as a whole. So if you're telling me that by going ahead and asering this kikar, this loaf of bread, and you eat it and you're chayiv me'ila totally, then it's possible to be paid it because it would grasp on on this amount of kedusha would grasp pidyon. Converse, that's where you say yesh that when it's usher on the world. Now, kika zu alai hegdish. What about you only aser it on yourself? What about if you only aser on yourself? The achla hu ma'al chaveru loy ma'al. Good. This is consistent. Regarding you, it's kodesh. Regarding your friend, it's not. But this is an example. Lefikach ein lem pidyon. Since the friend is not mild, so it's weak, the kedusha, that the pidyon does not grasp onto it. Where it's kaddish to everyone, it's shaykh pidyon. Where it's not shaykh kaddish to everyone, in this case to you who made the neder, but not to your friend, they're not shaykh pidyon. But in any case, clearly from here, this manda'ama holds yesh mila b'kainamas, because again, you're everyone's moil or you're moil. Divrei Reb Meir. This is the opinion of Meir. The Chachamim Maimrim, however, the Chachamim of the opinion, bein kach ubein kach, whether he said hare zu, that it's usher on the whole world, or he said hare alai, only usher upon me, loy moyal, there's no din of me'ila, lefi she'ein mila b'kainamis, there's no din of mila b'kainamis. Clearly, what do you see? You see that that's it's a machlokes tanoim. In other words, from our Mishnah, it could be according to the Mandiyama, Tiba Nola Hegdish, holds to like the Mandiyama, Yesh Mila B'Kainamis. Conversely, other people would say not. We don't say that. Okay. Let's see the Ran here, guys. Bulini Halacha, where the lines get wide, about 5 lines down. Now, usually, fellas, when we have machlokes, the chachamim and a yachid, we paskin like the rabbim. Bulin halacha kaim like Reb Meir. We paskin like Reb Meir. The yesh mila b'kainamis. The Rambam in Dalit from the Ila paskins yesh mila b'kainamis and halacha tes. The Rav Nachman poshet le'lerava mimas nisan sheyesh mila. 1. Good, you suggested some machlokes tanoim, but we from an anonymous Mishnah. Rebbe, guys, we were pushed from our anonymous Mishnah, correct? Guys, we had an anonymous Mishnah. People know the Hegdish, not the Liyam Melach. So therefore, the Ran is telling us, since we have an anonymous Mishnah that goes in conjunction with what clearly says Yesh Mila B'Kainamis, it's going like Reb Meir Shita. It's going like Reb Meir Shita, right? And in addition, with Perek Shuas Shnayim Basra Nami Mafchinan de Reb Meir Rabbanan. In Shuas Shnayim Basra, we switch around Reb Meir the Rabbanan to that we should come out Yesh Mila B'Kainamis. So Kaimlon Yesh Mila, okay. The Kaimlon Nami the Koinim Klali Yesh Le Pidyon, and we also find that Koinim Klali Yesh Le Pidyon. So guys, 2 rayas. If it's shaykh, after you say Koinim to everyone that has a pidyon, it must be has pidyon. That means there must be a total kedusha. Once you can be paid there, it has a total kedusha. So therefore, clearly, yesh mila b'kainamis. So we pass like that. Now listen to the suffix of the Ran. Umesaf gali, my man demoyel b'kainamis, I mishteri hahu kainam lebasa demoyel kehegdeshiyos lechulin al yedei mila. Now he has a shayla like this. According to Maniyama, that there's a din of mila b'kainamis. Guys, what's the din like this? If I was magdish this bottle, right? I was magdish this bottle, and then Benji would go ahead and take it. As soon as he takes it, it's no longer kodesh, right? There's mi'ilah, but once you're moil, it leaves hegdish automatically. You're going from, again, there's two types of mi'ilahs, guys. There's going from one rishus to another, or actually using it. We spoke about that yesterday. Now, once it goes out of the shus hegdish, so here's the shaila. When you make a neder, and you say this yeshtin of kainamais, and you're over on the neder, and your moil, says the Ran, I'm in doubt whether it goes to chulin or not. In other words, it might stay kodesh. It might be more severe than regular kachim. It might be more severe than regular kachim. Yeah.
Is it the fact that the neder falling off?
No. So that's the lumdus over here. In other words, what's the suffix? It's easy to say, well, once there's me'ilah, your moil, it's gone. That's the easy way out. There's another way to look at this. I'm suggesting this as pshat in the Ran. Once I make a neder on this and it becomes a carbon, good, you go ahead and take it. So let's say your moil. But what's happening? You didn't take off my neder. My neder is standing there. It's still there in place. So it reasserts itself. As soon as you were moil by using it, or taking it. But you're taking it, even if you can say it goes to chulin, my neder is right there to say, no, boom, it's kodesh again, boom, it's no matter how many times. So therefore, the ransom is supik, enachinami. Maybe it's regular hegdish. Once your moil goes out, or no, maybe kanamis is different. It's fascinating. There's a Mishnah Lamelech who goes through a bunch of different chakiris regarding this din. If the din of what one is that is the din of me'ilah is only ali they had fasa and only it would be ikaneder. You have to be mafis in a carbon. But if you just say this is kodesh, maybe not. It has to be like the comparison, not a al yedei. It only dafka has to be a shmil b'koinamas. When you use the lotion of koinim, he has other chakiras along the way to have this sugya. Now, the sugya is, I said it very quickly, but this is in yeshiva. They spend a lot of time on this. They really, yeshiva has written. They're busy, really busy. So sometimes you have a very short daf, but there's a lot there. Okay, let's see. The Gemara concludes this sugya. Amle Ravacha Brei the Rav Avil Ravashi. Our case, guys, Kikri Alecha, B'Naslei B'Matana. Yesterday we had a shaila. What was the shaila? What takes precedence, the kikar or the alecha? Kikri. And can I give it to you as matana? What was the shaila? It's no longer kikri. It's no longer mine. It's yours now. And then it'll be muta. Or no, alecha. It's always asa to you. And Rav wanted to say it's always asa. We went back and forth. What are you accomplishing? So now kikri alecha v'naslei matana. Now you just told me that this is us like a carbon, right? Who is moil over here? Who's moil over here? Usually, the person who takes it out is moil. Usually, unless it's the gizbar, the person who takes it out is moil. Of course, you're going from one rishus to the other. So the question wants to know, mimo, limal noisein, the one who gave it, all right. If I go ahead and I say this kik is asa to Avi Rosenzweig, good. I give it to Avi Rosenzweig. Am I moil? It's not kodesh to me. It's only kodesh to Avi. I only said my kikar is usher on you. It's kind of on Avi Rosenzweig. So I'm not moil. I'm not moil. Usually it's hegdish. It's a universal hegdish. So the person who takes it is moil. I'm not moil because this is a unique hegdish. Lemoil mekabel Avi Rosenzweig to be moil. Yachal. The Amik says hetera beisi isur la beisi. I wanted the matana. I don't want the issa. I don't want that. It's very interesting. I don't want it. So who's moil? So Amalei, listen to this, guys. So Amalei So said Ravashi to Ravavya, Mekabel moil l'chashiyatza. Pirish. When I give it over to Avi Rosenzweig, I'm not moil. Why? Never usher to me. Avi Rosenzweig's not moil. Why? I didn't want. No, you didn't. You didn't want it. You didn't want it, Issa. It's a good taina. I want Hector. I don't want an Issa. However, when Avi Rosenzweig goes ahead and uses it, what happens right then and there? Then it's going out of a shus of Hegdish. Because when it comes to you, not yet. It's a suspended animation. That, in other words, the Shini, there's two ways to be moil. Shini Rishus, or use it. The Chashiyotza, when Avi Rosenzweig uses it, then he's moil. Shekol HaMoitzi Mois Hegdish L'chulin, right? Kasava Shal Chulin, anyone who goes ahead and uses money of Chulin, of Hegdish, for Chulin, and thinks it's Chulin, in this case, he thinks the matana gave him his mutter, who moil, absem moil. So when? So but he has a taina. He has a taina. He's not accepting it for Issa. If I knew I'd be moil, I wouldn't accept it.
When I use it, I'm a galadas, but I am accepting.
Okay, so what's no. You accept it. You accept it as a gift, but you didn't accept that as an Issa. You want to. So here the question is, what's the difference between that case and any other case of Me'ila that you do b'shoigeg? Why is not that a tois? Okay, so let's see the Ran here. It's Geshmak Ran. So Lino Makabo Yachol the Amar Heterabina Sulabina. So again, the Ran is about 10 lines to the bottom. She'ilu Hayidea Shushal Issa. Had Avi Rosenzweig known this is Issa, Lahaya Roitzel Lizakrisba, he won't want to be Zoich in it. The Nimsa Zechia Betois. And therefore, when he was Zoich in the Matana, it's a mistake. The ain't a Zechia, and it's not a Zechia. It's amazing. It's not a Zechia. The Afag, now here's the question. Afag's always the question, guys. The Afagav dibim moitzi mishus hegdish efsha dafila betois moyo. So in the case where you think it's chulin and you take it out, shiny hacha, it's different over here. Shehu loy hoitzi ela chavera hoitzia. V'zeh loy asa ela shekibla. Meaning, if I go ahead, I think this is water bottle is chulin. I go ahead and use it. I'm the one who took it out. When Avi Rosenzweig, when he was makabel, he was makabel it, right? From me. So therefore, it's not like he took it out, he received it. In a regular case of mistaken Mila, you're the one who takes it out, right? In this case over here, and that's why you don't say it's a tois, because you did it. Over here, the whole Kabbalah was a tois. He didn't take it out, I took it out. And it's not asa to me. But I know it's not Shnaim Sosu. It's like there's no, it's not considered that he took it out at all. For Zeli Asa Ela Shekibla. He didn't do anything, Avi. He just took it.
I didn't know that you already told him.
But
in other words, I don't know that you already.
It doesn't make a difference. But obviously not. Obviously not. You would have said that. Obviously not. Obviously not. You want to know that, right? So it's so again, chiluk. It's zechia b'tois. You'd say zechia b'tois. It's right that he could say I don't want to be zoich in it. So and this it's ain't zechia. So it's not like he was makabelit. Masha'enke, in a regular case where you take it out, you don't have to do anything. You took it out. You was ready in you took it out. You did an action to take it out. Over here, I was the one who put it in, and that put it in was total b'tois. There's a difference by putting it in rather than taking it out. Okay, let's go. So just to finish the man. Amalei mekabel moel l'chshayotzi. The mekabel is moel when he takes it out. Kloimar mehashta inachem moel. When I give it to Avi, I'm not moel. Avi receives it, he's not moel. Mehanich taimei damit. Because the reason we said me because I'm not asa, and you because you want to be inside in it. Elamiu l'chshayotzi. When Avi uses it, moel. Nehi de gabe sechia amina and zechia b'toisi. Good, we say l'gabe sechia. It's a mistake. The chashayotzi lo yamina. But when he takes it out, it's a classic case of what regular meila, right? And amina hachi midi the habi akol mitzi mois hegdash shapulin. It's like any other case. Like once he's might see it the same way as any other case of hegdash shapulin. Okay, the second big sugya coming out. Okay, a lot of this is very kachim oriented sugya. We're going with the line now. A person is mudano. You can't have enough from certain people. So we said, fascinating enough. A person, if mudano can give you machzah shekel, A person can go ahead and pay off your mortgage. There was chiddush nifla. A person can return your aveda. We had machlokes what's the mitzias of the aveda, who's usher and who, whether it's put to Rav Yosef, not shliach. Okay, we had a bunch of cases. Here, a continuation of things a person's allowed to do. The first one is a chiddush. The Torah mesh trumasai. If a person can't have enough from another person, he could take off the other person's truma, which is a chiddush. We'll see it tomorrow, guys. But basically, shlichus is learned out from truma. Shliach is direct hana. Remember, what's our rule of thumb by hana? Direct is hana. Indirect is okay. Being mavriach hari, taking away the malva, taking away the gizbar, taking away, right, is mavriach hari, returning what's mine. Again, this is all mavriach hari. You're being masalik. Again, the Torah's idea of benefit is not our idea of benefit, not ki who's there. No one in this room would say that if someone can't pay off your mortgage, you wouldn't be pleased as punch with the guy and give him buy him a mafta yaina, right? No, that'd be more expensive than the mortgage. I'm not sure. So I'm saying that you understand, guys, right? But that's not the Torah. In other words, that's not what the Torah calls hana. What we call hana, it's maknashais. Halachically, it's not hana. That's the one. Halachically, hana is direct. Hana is again. You have to get it in your head because you hear it over and over again. You have to get it in your head. I gave a good example. If you would take someone, put it in the lion's mouth, the lion kills the person, you chayv misa. If you tie him up and a lion comes along and eats him, you pata. In either way, he died, right? One way you killed him, the other way you caused his death. Bidei Adam, you can't kill him. Hashem will take care of the guy. Don't worry. You know, it's not hefker. You don't get away with everything. But guys, halachically, the best. It's a good dogma of what we think. What we think doesn't make a difference. So we have to see if truma works al shlichos. How in the world can you go ahead and I can't ever know how and you take off the guy? I'm not supposed to be able to give this guy hana. I'm taking off his truma. Okay, that's tomorrow's daf. Today's not. The daitoi will see who's das. Umakriv alav. You can go ahead and be makriv. All the following kabbanis. Kine zavim, nest of zavim, kine zavais, nest of zavais, kine yoldois, nest of yoldois, chatois vashamois. Okay, let's explain. We know that there are tumah that is so severe that a person can't go ahead and eat kachim till they bring a carbon. That's called mechusa kippurim. You're missing your kapara. We've spoken this many times. It's always tumah that comes from an internal source. It's yoitze megufay. Notice all these things, guys. A zav has a flow from his body 3 times, right? A zava 3 separate days. A yoledes after the meituma 33 for a boy, 66 for a girl. Meitaira, excuse me. In those cases, these are all tumah that comes from the body. You can bring that for an individual, and he throws in the words chatas vashamas as well. So if an individual says, you can't have enough for me, and you go ahead and you can do this for the individual, you can bring it. That's a big chiddush. A third din is what? Umalamed medrash, halachas, v'agados, that you're able to do. We'll see mitzvahs of the Henderson. Avlo yilmadenu mikra, you can't teach a mikra. We'll see all this in the Gemara. Avulamin who has banav es benais of mikra. Then you could. Okay, let's. Here's the shaila, guys. We have the kohanim, no kohanim here tonight. Oh, there's Zevi. Zevi does the avodah for us, right? Is he doing it for us because we hire him? Is ashliach, or he does it for the Rabbi Shalom? What's the nafkamina? If you say that if Zevi would say that you can't have enough from him, then he would not. If he's a shluchei of us, that would be direct hana. What happens in the shluchei of the Rabbi Shalom? Then he could do it. Frag the Gemara, frag the Ran. Why could he do it? We're having hana. What? See, it's a mitzvah, but over here he's saving you bucks, bringing a carbon. So now, right? So what's the din? So this is indirect because you say it's grama ba'alma. He's causing us to get the Ran says, guys, look at the Ran. Hakam hani lei says the kivon the avich tichuse, since he does ashlichus mahani lei, he's giving hana. The bishleim ishluchei dishmayim ninu bishleim. You can tell me is a shliach of shemayim. Afa gav the sharilei by carbon lemechel bekachim. This you had to hash. As a result, you're going to be able to eat kachim. That's hana. You're having hana. In other words, not the fact that he brings the carbon, the fact that as a result of the carbon, you can eat kachim. That's the hana. Ein ze'ela grama hanas ba'alma v'shari. Keyword being grama. Again, same thing. Reiterating, indirect is okay. Okay, says the Ibaylo. Here's the Shaila. Hani kahane, these kahanim, shtuchi didon have shtuchi dishmaya. Lamay nafkamina. What would the difference be halachically? The mudahana. If you mudahana, you can have enough from the koyin. Amit the shtuchi didon have. If the koyin is ashliach hamahani lei, you're having hana because he's allowing you to eat kachim. But also, the amit shtuchi dishmaya. But however you say he's working for the Rabbi Shalom, then shari you'd be permitted. What's the din? Kashma guys from my Mishnah. Did nan makrav love kine zavim zavais chatas vashamais. Don kamahani lei. If you're going to say that what he's a shliach, we're having kamahani lei. Ella must be when he can bring this karbanis. He must be shluch shmaya. He must be shluch shmaya. Outside. It would appear to be pretty clean cut. If the kohen is able to bring karbanas for us, it must be, and he said, and we made a neder we can have enough from him, or he made a neder that we can have enough from him. Either way, if he can bring karbanas, it must be that he's the shliach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, the Gemara now says something tremendous on this. The Mishnah did not say karbanos. The Mishnah said specific karbanos. The Mishnah could have said, if mudahana, then he could bring karbanos. It could have said a general term for all the karbanos. The Mishnah didn't say that. The Mishnah was very miduyak, the type of karbanos that it stated, right? All of them were mechusik kippurim. We'll have to see chatas v'asham, but all of them were mechusik kippurim. Yes. The din in Chusik Kapurim is you don't need the das to bring it. In other words, if you bring a chatas chaylev, you have to do smicha, you have to be mizvada, you have to have in mind. You're bringing a neder and a dava, you have to have in mind. If I'm sleeping in bed and Heshi goes and says, listen, I'm going to do laser good turn. He goes to the base of Migdash and brings my carbon for the what? For the fact that I was a zav or something. I'm good. Good. Since you can bring it shalol l'das, what do you see? It's not a din shlichus. So even if it's shluchidi done, it would be permitted. When you don't need das, means you have nothing to do with it, correct? And we have a daik in the Mishnah, they're all mechusik kippurim. So geschmack. Why mechusik kippurim? What do they have in common? They don't need das. So now we can go ahead in the other direction and say that the Mishnah is the raya that it's shluchid done and not shluchid shmaya when it pick and chose those particular kabbanis. Says the Gemara, ulataimech, that you say so clearly, it must be shluchid shmaya. The fact that what you can bring it as a carbon, listening makar love karbanos. Why doesn't it say that mudana you can bring karbanis? Why does it say those karbanis? Ella mechusri kapara shiny. That's why you can bring them. Dom Rabbi Yochanan hakol tzrichim das chutz mi mechusri kapara. Everything needs das, with the exception of what? A mechusri kapara. Shay adam maybe carbon albanav albanois self hakatanim. Okay, we'll see that in a second. Guys, you hear what the Gemara is saying? Guys, hear what the Gemara is saying? One more time, outside. The fact that it chose these karbanis that doesn't have a das, right? It doesn't make a difference whether it's shluchei de shmaya or shluchei de didan, because again, you don't need das. So why don't we go in the other direction now and say we have a raya that it's shluchei didan, not shluchei de shmaya? So the Ran says, you know why? Because I can say another chiddush. I could say really it's shluchei de shmaya. Oh, you want to know why you chose those karbanis? There's a bigger chiddush because you're having direct hana as a result. You're allowed to eat kachim. We're telling you a big chiddush. Even though it's shluchei shmayim, you might have a havamina since you're going to get the hana of eating karbanis. It would be asa kamash malon that it's mutter, but still shluchei d'shmaya. In other words, it's not a clear cut raya either way. It's not clear cut raya shluchei shemaya because maybe what it's without das. Shluchei didon. It's not clear cut raya because maybe what the chiddush is. It's shluchei shemaya. You want to tell me the chiddush that you can eat kachim. So either way is not right. Now, how do you know you don't need das? That's what the Gemara is going to prove now. But you got the mechanics of the Gemara. You have that no raya from our Mishnah to what either side of the shaila. That's all we needed. And now, what's the din? Says the Gemara. Here's the din. Every carbon needs das. Shari Adam may be carbon albanav al. You could bring your carbon of your sons and your daughters, the katanim. You can bring them, yes, and they certainly don't have das. So what do you see? You don't need das. So Mamela, if you don't need das, there's nothing in shlichus. If there's nothing in shlichus, no raya. Shenemar zois toiras hazav ben gedola ben cotton. Good. Now the Gemara digresses, guys. Because when we're going to digress and explain zois toiras mashma, when you say the lashon of toiras, you know what it means? Always speaking cotton v'gadol, right? Elamayata Rabbi Yochanan zois toiras hayoledes. So what are you going to say? Ben katana ben gedola. Just like zois toiras hazav means katana, it must be zois toiras hayoledes must mean gedola or katana. Right? The Gemara katana bas leidahi. V'hatani Rabbi kamed Rav Nachman. We saw this Gemara twice in Masechta Yavamis. Shloisha nashim mishameshes b'moich. 3 women use a form of contraception. We had Machlokes Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. Rashi said before the bia. Rabbeinu Tam said it's a sponge after the bia. And umuberes, who are they? Katana muberes menika. A katana, a woman who's pregnant, and a woman who's nursing. Katana shemen tisaber v'tamos. So what do you see, fellas? That it can't be speaking about a katana because the katana can't get pregnant. So therefore the Torah there must be different. So what's the Torah there different? It says the Gemara Zois means bein pikachas bein shaita. This is the Torah of Yoledes, whether she is she's normal or whether she is a shaita or she is developmentally impaired. Shekain other maybe carbon al ishtoi shaita. A person can bring a carbon on his wife when she's a shaita. So that's what we use Torah for. We don't use it by Yoledes for a katana. Yeah, we use a different Torah. We use for what? Shaita. Good. Now, where do you know you can bring a carbon on a shaita? You know, there's no das. The Rabbi Yehuda, the time Rabbi Yehuda, other maybe carbon asher. Okay, guys, what's the halacha? That the carbon Yoledes is one of the carbons that's carbon oil of yored, the chatas oil of yored. Depending on your financial status, it goes up or down. If you're wealthy, you bring a sheep. If you're semi-poor, you bring birds. If really poor, you're going to bring flour, but they bring birds. Good. So now, let's say his wife, everything the wife owns goes to him. Masha kana isha kana baila. So every girl basically is a birdie, right? So anyway, so it says the Tanya. Other maybe carbon asher al ishtoi, the whole kabana shechayeves, and any carbon that she's mekoyev. Shechak koisev law the achrayis the islech alai min kod medina. Any achrayis I had before. This is a long round over here. Let's skip it. Okay, the bottom line is it's good. Right now we're holding serve, guys. We're holding serve. We have no raya from a Mishnah, right? The fact that it's a mechusik Purim is what because das. Where do you learn das from? So it's Toiras we have kash katana that we use for pikachas. New kasha. Maser Rav Simi bar Abba. Im hoya kayin yizraik alav dam chatasai v'dam ashamai. If he's a kayin, and you can't have enough in the kayin, the final avoida, he can sprinkle the dam of a chatas, the dam of an asham. Guys, is the chatas is a mechusik Purim? No. Is an asham mechusik Purim? No. And yet what? You can spritz it. So it's a raya that shluchei dishmaya, not shluchei didan. Good. Guys, why do we ask from here? Doesn't our Mishnah say chatas v'ashamas? Look at our Mishnah. What's our Mishnah say? Why did we jump to the Brisa to ask? Why don't we ask from the Asham Chatas Mishnah? Says the Ran, because clearly the Chatas and Asham Mishnah must be similar to Mechusik Purim. It must be speaking about the Chatas of a Mitzayra and the Asham of Mitzayra. Contextually, guys, from the Mishnah, you'd say it's speaking about what? It's speaking about what some Chatas Asham that is Mechusik Purim. A Mitzayra is one of Mechusik Purim. He has to bring Chatas Asham. So since our Mishnah is speaking about what? About Mechusik Purim, it must be. But this Brisa doesn't speak about Zav at all. So it's a better to ask in the Brisa where it says Stam Chatas Stam Asham. What's the answer? We'll answer the same way. Says the Gemara, and for the Gemara, What are we speaking about? We're speaking about what? Chata shel Mitzayra, dam chata shel Mitzayra, dam hashom shel Mitzayra. Right? T'chsiv zois tia teres ha-Mitzayra, ben gadol ben katan. You don't need das. So therefore, what? It's speaking about Mitzayra. Mitzayra is mechus Kippurim, so you have no raya. Once it's mechus Kippurim, there's no raya. Because you don't need das, and there was no shlichus. Final question. Okay, we know what pigel is, guys, but since it's been a while since we mentioned it, we'll say it again. We know that four avodas Adam, there's the shchita, the kabbalah, the halach, and the zrika. If a person in any one of those four avodas has in mind, the kohen has in mind that to do the sprinkle the blood or b'mkabel anyone chutz l'makam chutz l'zman, the halacha is that it's pigel, and if it says chutz l'zman and eats it, you chayiv karis, and the kohen is chayiv to bring another carbon for this person. He's chayiv. He calls this person is chayiv. Okay, so now says the Gemara. Tanan hakahanim she pigloi b'migdosh meizidim chayavim hashagin peturim. Mashke, if the shagig, the Gemara Menachos Memtes says that he doesn't know this is in a pigel. I don't know how he got to that position, but he doesn't know this is in a pigel. Nonetheless, he's potter. Ella, even though he's potter from paying, because it's a hezek shein and nikah, because the kasha there, right? The sugya we're going to see in Sechta Bava Kama, other more the oilam. So how's he potter? Hezek shein and nikah. Ella shepigula and pigel. Now, it's pigel, right? I am b'shleima shluchei deshmaya have. Haina shepigul and pigel. This shleim, if you're saying what he's a shluch of the Shemaya, you gave me your carbon. He went ahead and he messed up your carbon. You have no say in the matter. If you're going to tell me that what that the kohen is your shliach, amai pigul and pigel. Why is there a pigel in the carbon? Leimalei, let the owner of the carbon say shlicha shavisach that kune below lavise. I made you a shliach to be metaken and not to mess me over, right? Not to mess me over. So how can I go ahead possibly and tell? How's it possible to say that? So Ami shiny gabi pigel domakra lo yichashev lo yimikol makan. It's the cost of that lo yichashev won't be considered a carbon any which way. Let's see the round over here. Tanan akanim shepigla b'migdash iyam b'shnei meshluchi d'shmayaninu haina shepigulin pigel the rachmana shavinu shluchi lechomili. The Chachamim, the Torah made you a shliach in Olinian, even to mefagel the carbon. But if you're going to tell me that what? That the Kahanim are shluchi didan, right? Eliyah amet shluchi didan yinu, amai pigul and pigul, shoigehu, the koshalei, the shoigeg shver, bishleim b'mezid, neither shluchi didan yinu, pigul and pigul, the kimush mefagel b'mezid, ain't no isa shlichusay. Ela daiti the nafshik it. In other words, if you did mezid, it's pigul. You know why it's pigul? Why? Because you didn't do shlichus. So you know I can't have a time, and you're gonna have to pay me back anyway. But kaimelon b'perik beis the chulin the adam isa davashena shaloi ayidei maisa. If it's not something that's notice it's through a maisa. Let's say, guys, I take your wine and I go ahead and I meshachshei tavay the zara. I can answer it. I'll have to pay you back, but it would work. It's the same thing over here. I'll be shoygeg. 1 second. Shoygeg ishluchi didininu amai pigul and pigul. Why is it pigul? The hakim and the shoygeg who. Lavadaiti the nafshika of it. He's not doing what he was supposed to do. Shemiskavanu lasa shlichusai. He knows he wanted to do his shlichus. Belema, no, you're a shaygeg. You thought you're doing shlichus. So that's not the shlichus I sent you on. So why is it pigel? That's the Gemara's kasha. Okay, and the Gemara answer is lo yichashiv. Okay, very good. Packed off.